Alright, it's time for game number 3 of the Encirclement ICYFAR, where players had to surround, flank, or entrench static defenses in a circle around their opponent's bases and siege them down. Well, let's see how this one goes, guys. It's a Zerg vs Zerg, and up here in the top right, in the red, the Zerg player, feeling the rage. It's Bloodlust. You guys want to hear a really good impression of the Bloodlust sound? Maynard does that so well. I'm always like, oh, I can't do it. I always do this like, I get like 1/10 of the sound right. Whatever the fuck it is. That was the worst one I've ever done. I didn't even get 1% then. And Maynard does it perfectly. It's so good. Over here in the top left, in the blue, representing nothing except the Zerg might. It is the Dark Lorax. Straight from Dr. Zeus's imagination. And coming down, oh my god, the drone block. This is so annoying. Wait, was Bloodlust planning to proxy hatch? Or is it just meant to block? I don't know. Who's winning? Drone on drone. This is Zerg on Zerg crime, and oh, Bloodlust. First, a blood here for this angry Zerg player. Oh, and survives on 1 hit point, the regen just in time. What a douchebag. Nice XP start. That drone is going to be hitting level 2 very early on, and already takes the XP lead. We'll have to go back to Fountain to heal for now, though. And TDL does end up re-establishing control of mid lane. Up here, we've got a pool and a gas being forced to go down while that was being delayed. Over on the right-hand side, Bloodlust just follows up with a hatch, a gas, and a pool. A brutal start for this angry aggro drone. He's going to go home, have some fun. So, for you guys and girls and even Protoss players are allowed to submit replays, believe it or not. I've the human the Protoss Rights Commission got on my back. They said you need to allow them into your competition. I was like, fine, okay, fine, let's do it. So all of yous can get your replays cast next week. Blast from the Past is next week's challenge, so send in your best replays playing Old Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty, or Brood War strats. Now, this is an awesome challenge because there is so many weird old strats. For anyone who's been in the game for a long time, anyone who's a new player, go ask around for some famous VODs and try to figure out some old strategies. I want to see people blowing up their own command center with siege tanks into winning the game anyway. I want to see people hallucinating mass void ray and making their opponents leave. I want to see people doing Corsair DT from Brood War, Bisu PVZ, where it's Phoenix DT. You'll see Roddy do it sometimes as an actual legit style. I want to see people just doing cool shit, anything that harks back to the old days. And obviously, it doesn't need to be exact. It's open to your own interpretation on how you make that happen. Feel free to shout out in chat an explanation of what you're doing if you feel like it needs some clarification. But yeah, just have some fun. Send me the funniest, most exciting games, and just use this as a reason to go back and have some nostalgic games trying to make some old styles work. And yeah, Zerg players, just a heads up, turtling on 3 base with Mass Spinecrawler, Infester, and then Mass Broodlord, probably not going to get you in. There's people like, oh, but late 2012, End of Wings of Liberty was my favorite time. I made Spinecrawlers, and I sat behind them with Infestors, and then I made Broodlords, and I sat there for another 20 minutes until I could slowly move across the map. And I'm like, no. You see, the reason, I mean, I totally respect that was a big part of StarCraft history in StarCraft 2, but I also lately have been trying to take care of my own mental health, and I don't want to fucking murder myself, which I'll have to do if I cast a 45-minute game doing that. Not to mention, Eon Blue would never subject me to that. He'd never actually pick it. So, as usual, just choose the most entertaining or exciting games. You can always break the rules or be a little bit loose on them if the game is particularly interesting, exciting, or juicy in one way or another. For now, TDL here has made a ton of drones on 3 base. There is no banelings at home for either player. Both players very confident in their map vision, I suppose. No safety banelings at all. Very, very ballsy play on both sides. I never trust myself to see Lings flood out, so I've always got banelings sitting at home, but Bloodlust poking around, both players building up. It's a lair and a Roach Horn on the side for Bloodlust. No Evo Chamber, no extra gases just yet. TDL going to be going for the later lair. Still could be Mutas from TDL's side, but no, Roach Horn and Evo Chamber are going to go down. Drone lead does go for Bloodlust right now. TDL freezing up on the drone count just a little bit. There we go, 8 drones queuing up, so she will be catching up there. Bloodlust's looking good. Bloodlust's looking good. TDL's looking good. I think we're going to go to the mid game here. And I want to see some big Roach surrounds. It looks like it's going to be Roach versus Roach. And I tell you, there is nothing juicier than when your opponent commits to a hard Roach timing and you're pulling back because you don't have the numbers to match them in the open ground, and they kind of, you split your units and you keep pulling back on all sides and you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, and then at some point you realize, because they've kept pushing through the center, your army's actually surrounding their army, and you actually just F2 A move. You just select all army, you A move it, and like you just get the most perfect surround. I've had a few of those that are some of the just most beautiful engagements I've ever had in StarCraft. So I'm hoping we get to see one of those in this game. We'll see how it goes. Bloodlust here has a big Ling advantage. And oh no, that's the only Baneling. That's the only Baneling. That has to buy Lorax a lot of time. She needs time for these 8 Roaches to pop. 1. Oh, okay, it's going to go down. It's going to go down. But it gets 3 Lings. Oh no, the other Baneling blew up on a single Zergling. Uh-oh. Queen in the open. She pulls back to the choke point. The Queen will be safe for now. Roaches are popping, but there's Banelings near the mineral line. The focus fire on the Banelings needs to be good. The focus fire on the Banelings. One Baneling goes down. The other Banelings aren't getting into the drone line. They're blocked. Ooh, fortuitous pathing there for Lorax. Holds on. Does lose the Queen on the 3rd, but the Roachling will get down to defend that 3rd base. And no doubt breathing a sigh of relief is the Dark Lorax here. Bloodlust behind this has not managed to drone their own 3rd base. And remember, there is an Evo chamber on both sides, but no one's had time to use it. And right now, Bloodlust has been way too slow to get gases. We've already got the natural gases mining well for Lorax. We've got a good mineral gas ratio. Meanwhile, Bloodlust is building Zerglings? Oh, this gas choke is really ruining. Bloodlust needs to just drone and get these gases up, but is feeling afraid of a counterattack because there's no vision. The Overlords got cleaned up on the other side, and Bloodlust feels that they need fighting units right now, but the Ling stage of the game is over. And now, despite a very good opening for Bloodlust, TDL is going to have the momentum shift back into her favor. Zergling going to slide into the natural. Ooh, does get in there, and the Ling's going to just look for a scout. Sees no drones on the 3rd. That's an important scout. TDL can maybe squeeze a few more drones out, but no more than that. Seeing a lot of Roaches, a lot of Lings, you've got to be worried about aggression. But when your own +1 and Roach speed finishes, these Lings are going to be near worthless in a front-on engagement. They're going to be good for mobility and counterattacking. They are, you can see, positioning down the right-hand side of the map. And they're going to, of course, look for a counterattack perhaps later on in this game. The Overseer comes through, sees a gas on the 3rd, doesn't really see a lot of drones, and just checking for a Spire tech is the Dark Lorax. Looking for Spire, looking for Lurkers, anything like that. But it looks like a pretty standard Roach versus Roach. The Queens do snap the Overseer. A Ling's going to flood in. The Lings on the natural get blocked, but the Lings on the 3rd get a Queen kill, and they are also going to get, ooh, no drones. The Lings and the Roaches come in just in time. These Lings going to try and do a bit of a dance, but their time is limited. And they're not going to make it past that. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. +1 finishing for both players. 5 more drones on the way for Dark Lorax here. There's even more Lings out there. Holy shit. That could be a big surprise later on in this game. 51 drones for Lorax to just 40 for Bloodlust. And the problem for Lorax now is the vision on the other side of the map's being cleaned up, and there is no follow-up scout of that 3rd mineral line. This Changeling needs to get over there to realize there's no droning happening right now, because the Roach count is getting bigger and bigger for Bloodlust, and Bloodlust does have a big army advantage right now. 18 drone advantage, and going into upgrades like Burrow and Burrow Move. I mean, if Lorax survives, also remembers to start +2, Lorax is going to be ahead. But right now, Lorax is down on the army supply, and that gets very scary in a mirrored war of Roach versus Roach. Uh-oh, supply block hitting right now as well. We've got a big Roach army, about 7 Roaches in the lead there. He's going to go for a 3 Roach counterattack on the left-hand side while the main army pushes the right. But Lorax goes for the swing in, sees very few drones on this base, is going to snipe down a few of them. But, I mean, that's a scary moment. You realize that you are way outnumbered here as Lorax. I mean, the numbers aren't too bad, actually. They're not too bad. And the Roaches actually ended up grouping up with these Lings that are going to counterattack on the right-hand side. And that's an undefended 3rd base. Only the Queen there. The distraction on the north side. Bloodlust here with the multi-prong. Very powerful multi-prong maneuvers. Biles landing on both sides. Those Lings ravaging the drone line on the 3rd. Lorax taking some massive damage here. Bloodlust with sick multi-prong. And has just killed so many workers. That 3rd base still getting ravaged. The Roach is popping out, buying a little bit of time, but another 4 workers go down. Lorax wants to chase. Ooh, gets a Ravager, but eats some huge Biles. Oh, Lorax realizing the 3rd is taking big damage is, oh my god, the 3rd's gonna go down? No, the Lings. Bloodlust just F2'd. Go back, kill the 3rd. Bloodlust does go back in, gets the 3rd base. And now it's a matter of TDL coming in. She's still actually got the worker lead right now because of her Ling counterattack, but I think she feels desperate that she needs to do some counter damage and use that army that she's got right now after a lot of the Roaches of Bloodlust. Bloodlust taking a terrible fight down this ramp. does have Lings cutting off some of the reinforcements, but it was a really bad angle to start, but the reinforcing numbers are just too big. Those Lings cut off a lot of the Roaches coming across the map for TDL. Picked off 2, maybe 3 of them, and they're going to try and cut off the retreat as well. If these Ravagers go down, that's really bad. Look at the Lings, body blocking Lings. Going to go for the trap there. Oh no, these are valuable units going down. Ugh, this is getting real nasty. +2 attack is about to finish here for Bloodlust. Needs to buy 20 seconds, does Dark Lorax, for the +2 to finish. Dark Lorax down in the Roach count by 2 Ravagers, not much else. Supply almost dead even. Third is rebuilding. 39 drones for Bloodlust, 43 for Dark Lorax. Only 1 drone building here, and Bloodlust is transferring drones from the main down to that third base. They will, of course, start to make use of those minerals finally, and that will give an income advantage to Bloodlust as they kick in. While the transfer was going, was lower, but ooh, sneaky maneuvers, seeing there's no Overseer. Oh my gosh, gonna come in from behind and gets on the exposed Ravagers. Ravagers do not have as many hit points as Roaches, dodges the Biles on the front side, and at the same time, the Roaches come in from behind. It's a trap. The encirclement is complete. I was not expecting that maneuver. I was expecting a pre-spread flank, but beautiful tunneling claw ambush there, and that was all the gas bank of Bloodlust gone down. Even though the armies have traded relatively evenly supply-wise, Bloodlust just spent the entire gas bank, and that's a huge problem. All the valuable Ravagers went down, and that was the lead that had been established. Now it's 1 Ravager to none in the lead for Lorax. Lorax trying to drone up the third, and there's already a gas on that third. So the gas lead will be there for Lorax. And there we go. It's time to get the Burrow boys on the way. These Roaches have been drinking way too much last night. They have a bit of a hangover. They're sticking their head down in the sand so they don't have to see any bright lights because it makes them feel a little bit icky. But they're saving that all up for the moment where they will chunder on their opponents. Of course, Abatha designing Roaches basically as a whole bunch of spring break college kids who are just permanently in a hungover state and ready to vom on their opponents. Abatha's a bit of a dickhead. He does not care about your comfort, your well-being. He says if your vomit's acidic, if it's going to kill your opponents, then yeah, we'll use it. We'll make use of it. These Roaches already queued up to unburrow in these mineral lines, I believe. Oh, there we go. 1 Roach in the natural. And there's Roaches in the third as well. They're going to try and fight those Queens. The Transfuser's not going to go down, but the Queens are actually massacring those Roaches with +2. That's crazy. Oh my god! Big Biles on the front there for TDL. At the same time, Roaches pursuing those drones. The Roaches in the third actually lost to the Queens. Apparently 3 Roaches lose to 3 Queens even with no Transfusers landed. I didn't even know that. Hot damn, 3 Roaches run into the main. They say, hey, 3 Roaches, 1 Queen, and just like, what were those videos called? Where it was like the really bad, it's always just like the college people like lifting their top off and shit. What was those terrible, or back when you had to like hire VHSs and stuff. What was that thing called? That terrible fucking video series that was always Girls Gone Wild. Oh shit! Roaches gone wild right now. Popping up behind once again, another trap here. But yeah, those Roaches tried to make a Girls Gone Wild video. The Queen had a bit too much to drink, and she agreed, and unfortunately did end up getting paid nothing and embarrassing herself. But it looks like TDL here with an incredible engagement. Oh man. Yeah, Girls Gone Wild. There used to always be like ads on for that shit, like late at night. Oh my god, it was so bad. It was so bad. They'd be like, order your VHS Girls Gone Wild tapes delivered. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Oh, it was fantastic. Roaches and Ravagers are going to jump in. And it turns out these woo girls, they know how to party on spring break. The Chundering Thunder from, well, not from down under in this case, but these Roaches do come from down under the map, from Automaton, the south side. And just endless waves of Roach Vomit on the opponent. Some beautiful little burrow tactics to get the encirclements off. A really nice action-packed Zerg vs. Zerg. Bit of back and forth there. Ends up eating some of the biles of the opponents. And just remember, guys, people are like, oh, if the regular Roach attack is Vomit, what is Corrosive Bile? That's like the sort of possessed projectile where it goes 3 meters horizontal and hits a wall. Shows 0 sign of ever dropping. You know, like the sort of shit where you're like, if there wasn't a wall there, how far would that go before it actually starts dipping? Like, what is the maximum range and trajectory of this? Like, holy shit. And that is how it works. So, Roach vs. Roach, always an exciting vomit-fueled war. hopefully everyone watching this is eating at home and now feels really hungry. I hope you're enjoying your meals. Thank you, TDL, for that amazing replay. GG, well played. And thank you, everyone who sent in replays today with the Encirclement ICYFAR. Don't forget, guys, to send your replays in for next week's topic. It is Blast from the Past, Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty, Brood War. Crap, I don't know. Maybe one of you psychopaths is going to bring like an Age of Empires strat. I didn't really play any other RTS games though, so don't count on me understanding it unless you explain it or it's really obvious or some shit like that. So anyway, guys, have some fun. Send some replays in. I hope you all get featured next week. We do 3 or 4 of the best replays a week, chosen by Eon Blue, my amazing moderator. So hats off, guys. I'll see you next week.